See, that's the one thing they don't tell you when you have 4 monitors is you will lose your mouse.
Yeah, I got 2, and it's sometimes I hate it when it's like something happens and you accidentally drop a file on your other monitor that isn't on, and you got to turn it on and you got to like click it to like get the thing on your desktop.
Yeah, so I have my TV is technically a monitor, and every now and then I'll have something that will decide, you know what I really need to fucking do? Load on that fucking monitor.
Oh, you just took a rocket right to the face. Left click.
Left click, right click, center click. I normally play this with a controller.
Maybe hit pause and
There we go.
options.
So the lesson we've learned here is always play with a controller.
Yes.
Keep your dying in moderation.
Yeah.
It's a good, I mean, it's fair. It's a fair statement.
Are we streaming? Are we live now?
Oh, we've been live, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm an asshole.
So we are from mygamer.com, and we are playing Metal Dogs, which is currently available. It's on Steam, but it says that it's in early access, but it's been out for a while. It came out in summer of 2021, so it's 6, 7, 8, like 8, 9 months old now.
Yeah, and they're still doing constant updates.
Yeah, so maybe it's not like the final version. It does still say early access, but yeah, you're playing as a puppy in kind of an overhead Diablo setting, but with a friggin' rocket launcher strapped to your back.
Correct, yeah. Yep. They are Metal Dogs. This takes place in the Metal Max universe, which is not something that we experience a lot of in the States, but it's something that, well, it exists in Japan. I don't know if I can't speak to whether or not it's popular. What I can say is that it is a long-running Japanese series.
Yeah, this game is developed and published by 24 Frame Inc., and I can't say I've ever heard of them before.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's one of those. It's probably better known in Japan, and I am their target American audience.
Yeah, you're it.
Yeah, they literally localized this game for me.
Yes.
It was very considerate of them, I have to say.
I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with this. I mean, it's basically just your typical, I shouldn't say typical, but it's just your twin-stick shooter, just with a ridiculous
It's
premise.
Not twin-stick, it locks on targets.
Okay, so it's still, but it looks like a twin-stick shooter, the top-down action.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous how you're playing as a Shiba Inu? How do you say that?
Shibu Inu.
Yeah, whatever it is, with fighting tanks, and these tanks are just taking aim at a dog. What's up with the tanks just kind of spawning out of nowhere, though?
That's a boss tank that's doing that.
You got your guns on a cooldown timer.
Yep. Pick up weapons.
infinite ammo.
But ammo has to reload.
Yes.
So, like my back cannon, that does the most damage. I can only do one shot, and then then there's a long reload period.
Yeah. Your albino cannon? Yeah. I wonder if this game is co-op.
I know that you're big in co-op.
Yeah, this is single player only though.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. This guy is super bullet spongy.
Almost there.
Yeah, almost got him. Seriously.
Yeah, one more.
The funny thing is, I've been playing so much Elden Ring that I keep by default hitting Y to accept on stuff, and that's not the right fucking button.
Yeah, it can mess you up.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring.
Yeah, you and everybody else, as we were talking off stream there, but yeah, it seems like everybody on Twitter and just everywhere else is just Elden Ring all day, every day.
It's really good. It's we're playing another game, and I'm talking about Elden Ring. So
it makes me think, like, what's gonna, like, if Elden Ring is this big and popular, what's gonna happen when Breath of the Wild 2 hits? Like, everybody was talking about that game when it first launched. And I feel like, we haven't had any news updates with Breath of the Wild 2 in years now. But if it doesn't come out,
I think they
this
trickle
year,
something like once a year, they'll say.
Yeah, they'll, if it doesn't come out at the end of this year, it's
well, yeah,
be...
I'm sure that there'll be at least one more Nintendo Direct this year that Nintendo will come out and say, like, oh, you can play as Zelda this time, or some random...
Yeah, they're going to make a Nintendo Direct just for Zelda.
Yeah.
When the time, my guess is wait until summer, end of summer maybe, and then they'll announce a fall, like a November, early November something.
It'll probably be another cross-gen release.
Maybe.
Well, no,
if
they said that they're not done with the...
Yeah, Switch is going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
Still, but it won't be on Wii U this time. That's actually how I played it, because at the time when the Switch first launched, you couldn't find Switches, but I still had my Wii U. So that's how I played Breath of the Wild, was on my Wii U.
Funny Zelda launch Nintendo Zelda story. I was lucky enough to have a Wii on launch day. I worked at GameStop, and I also had like friends.
Yeah.
So
Twilight Princess.
I was able to snag one, and that was also like launch day was. It is always hard to get a console, but they were but it was before the hype of the Wii really started. So what ended up happening is, at launch there's only one game that you really wanted to play.
Yep.
And that was, Twilight Princess. The thing is, Twilight Princess was actually selling better than the Wii, because they had discs. They didn't have Wiis. So you would go into a store and they'd just be sold. You couldn't get Twilight Princess at launch.
Yeah, the Twilight Princess too. You also needed a nunchuck. I can't remember.
You got one
nunchuck, I think, right when it bundled in. But yeah, you needed a nunchuck to play. But yeah, some people might have gotten the GameCube version of Twilight Princess, because they couldn't.
Almost no one did, and Twilight Princess on GameCube is actually worth a small fortune.
It is, yes.
Because so few people. I can use the weapons laboratory. In the laboratory, by paying materials and money, you can randomly change the effects of your equipment. It's only experimental and results are not guaranteed.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Well, let's try it. Let's make some bad decisions. Yes, we would like to upgrade the machine gun. Ooh. Did it just go down? It just went down.
Yep.
Damn, it wasn't messing around. So what is that all about? Where like you could randomly get negative
That's
effect?
Metal Max, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rolling the dice every time.
Yeah, that's this fucking series. It don't give a fuck.
You want to roll the dice again on your...
I don't have another mutation thing.
Yeah, so you had enough gold.
I have plenty of gold.
Yeah, I see that. Yep. I just got done playing. I posted my review today on mygamer.com that you can go check it out, and on my blog squallsnake.com. But I just reviewed Wife Quest by East Asia Soft. I've been covering a lot of East Asia Soft games over the last, I'd say 2 years really now. And I love this company because they make these games, they release these games that are very small, like $10 or even less games, $7, $5. And they make these games that, they're not big. They're small and bite size, which is great for a reviewer like me when you don't have time to play a 45-hour RPG, And I like it because a lot of these games, they just do like one thing, just like one gimmick about it, but they usually do it like really well. So I've been covering their games. But anyway, Wife Quest, I wanted to just quickly highlight it because it is just a good old-fashioned 2D action platformer. And I say that because it's like every game, we've been saying this for a couple of years now, is like every game that gets released is just a roguelike. But to actually play a game that's not a roguelike, where with like levels that are actually designed by like a human being.
Yup.
This is just kind of like a Contra style game, but like just with like a sword, but you get levels up and stuff. You can increase the strength of your sword and the length and everything like that. And then you kind of get like Metroidvania upgrades where you can float, and then you get a shield where you can block stuff and everything. So it's a really good game. It's got some, rough spots, like the levels are way too long and it's a little grindy and things like that. But I still felt like it was really refreshing to just play a good old-fashioned action game that wasn't a frickin' roguelike, which is like the exception these days because every game released these days is some type of a rogue.
Well, and including this game, because the levels are randomly generated.
Yeah, that's just what it's seriously like every game. If you look on the eShop, right? eShop still gets 20 games released every week on the Switch eShop, not even looking at Steam or Xbox, PlayStation, but out of those 20 games, 4 or 5 of them are going to be some type of a rogue game. It's just like what you do, whether it's, I just reviewed a roguelike pinball game starring, you can check out my review there on My Gamer, where you walk on an overhead map and then it's like, okay, you want to fight these zombies, but instead of just like an actual like fighting with the sword or fighting with the gun, you play pinball, where zombies come from the top of the screen and try to kill your flippers. But it's also a roguelike. That's just, I'm just so tired of playing freaking roguelikes. Give me something purposely designed, will you?
One of the other things that we've discussed at length is they're not good roguelikes.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of them that are not.
They miss the fucking point of the genre.
Yes, they make you'll get the one spawn where it's just bad design. It's unfair. You can't make that jump because there's a thing in the way. Like, I get it, but I don't want to play a roguelike anymore for like a really long time.
Yep, you're not wrong. It's really funny because there's this YouTuber that I started watching, and he was doing a series on when he played like super hard games, and he played. Do you remember Skull, that game that I reviewed?
Maybe.
And So I watched
Oh
this
yes,
guy,
yes, yes. I do.
the
Yeah,
2D
yeah.
platformer, and you can
Yes,
switch
yes,
spells.
yes.
So
I do,
I
yes.
watched this guy have played and beat like every Dark Souls game. And he got to that and got stuck at the same fucking boss that I did.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, what the fuck, dude?
And it doesn't even like, you know, you're not going to find better weapons, or if you do, it's just going to be random. Like, you know, I like Splunky and stuff like just as much as the next guy, but I'll play 2 or 3 runs and I'm like, okay, I don't really want to punish myself. Maybe I'll play in a couple more days when I have a chance to calm down.
My issue with that game is, so one of the things that people don't give Dark Souls really credit for is, if you make enough progress, you unlock shortcuts that will bring you back to where you can heal up. It's not, constant in your face. There are moments of rest and shit. But that game, if you die, you go all the way back to the beginning. And you have to beat a lot of really fucking, like, you have to beat a lot of shit before you clear, like, basically what's considered an entire level.
You got to be good, like, to get nothing, to do like all this work and have like a good run and then die. Like, I don't know. That's
the thing is that, like, even Rogue, you could like go back to town and fucking, Rogue was almost impossible. The original Rogue was almost impossible. What was it? Sheeran allows you to store stuff between runs. This game,
right,
just sort of, you start from zero every time. There are some permanent upgrades and stuff, but not a lot, and not enough that you can sit there and say, "Oh, I'll be fine next." Like, I'll be fine next run.
Right.
You have to play that game for a really long time before you're powerful enough and you've unlocked enough to sort of just stomp it. And by a lot, I mean like way more than you fucking really should.
Yeah, and by that time too, your skill is just good too, so you kind of get it compounded with it. Now I have like the one gun that can be, or the one sword that can be used to help me actually beat this game, and I have the skill and the knowledge to like watch out for the traps and the twitch response time, muscle memory.
I liked a lot of things about that game. What I did not like about that game was it was way too unforgiving. It wasn't hard, it was unforgiving.
Yeah. Cheap, like, I got some problems with that. That's like this wife quest game is good. Moments, there were some like cheap enemy placement, and it was grinding everything, but at the same time I'm like, it's still not a Rogue. This is good. Give me some more of this good old-fashioned designed games, purposely designed games.
Exactly, and it's so with Skull, for instance, one of the problems with it was when people do rogues like that, you can just have entire runs that you don't get anything good, and you technically are just screwed.
Yeah,
like that you can't make anything out of. And so that's why some of those games are disappointing sometimes. Or you'll be on a really good run and you'll be like, cool, I just need some healing items, and you just never find them.
Exactly. Yeah, you might have a good weapon or something, but you're still going to get screwed one way or another. But yeah, that's anyway. So yeah, this has been Metal Dogs. It's still in early access, as we said. Kind of plays like a twin stick shooter, but it stars puppies with friggin' guns and rocket launchers on their back. Like, how crazy is that? And you can follow us at mygamer.com. You can follow me on Twitter at ZackGaz, ZackGaz. And until next time, thank you for watching, and game on.